Hi, folks, and welcome to Operation Ownership, Building a Business After Service. My name is John Tenner, and I'll be your host today on this webinar. So, before we begin, I'm going to share my screen and bear with me because I am not used to using this program to do these live webinars. And so, I'm going to open up my screen first before I switch over to broadcast it to you guys. So, just give me a minute here. Let's see how this looks. And now let me see if I can switch over to the screen that I want to show you. Where did it go? That's not it. That's not it. It was just here. There it is. Now, I can't see if you guys can see the screen that I'm looking at. I'm going to have to play around with this for just a minute, guys. I apologize for the technical delay. Let me see if I can do this again. And let's see, present screen share. Okay, got it. One more thing to do. I need to look and see if you guys can see. There we go. Yeah, it looks like you guys can see that. Good. Okay, cool. And let me just invite myself so I can watch it on my phone and make sure that that you guys can so that you guys are seeing this. That I'm seeing the same. You're seeing the same thing as I'm seeing. If that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick. I'm opening up this screen share on my phone, which I sent myself an email link. There it is. Okay. Shows that I'm live. That's good. I can hear myself. Shows that I'm live. That's good. I can hear myself. And let me mute this. There we go. Okay, cool. Outstanding. Okay, so let me now go over to my presenter mode and we'll be good to go. That makes sense. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Operation Ownership, Building a Business After Service. So let's see if you're in the right spot, if this is for you. My name is John W. Tanner, and I will be your host through this webinar for active duty and veterans. I'm an Army and Navy veteran myself and a serial business owner with over 30 years of experience in the real estate industry. Today, we're going to walk you through step by step through a process of how to build a successful business after your military career. This training is designed specifically for veterans and active service members who are ready to take control of their next mission, the mission of business ownership. So here's our roadmap for today. hope you guys see this. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Seems like there was a little bit of a delay getting over there to the next slide, but this is where you should be. You should be seeing three little soldiers and a map. And so we're going to cover why entrepreneurship is a powerful career choice for a career pathway for veterans. We're going to identify the various business models that you can choose from, and we're going to discover which business is right for you and your skill set, as well as explore how to plan, how to fund, and how to legally structure and then launch and grow your business. And finally, I'm going to introduce you to the support systems that we've created to guide you throughout your entrepreneurial journey. Everything you see today is designed to help you build a business that is both sustainable and profitable. Let's start with a truth. Veterans make exceptional business owners. Why? Because military service teaches discipline, leadership, adaptability, and mission execution, the exact traits that are required to run a business. So, you already possess the mindset that many non-veteran entrepreneurs spend years trying to develop in the entrepreneurial world, in entrepreneurial space. After service, most veterans go straight into jobs, but many find those roles to be limiting. Entrepreneurship gives you freedom, flexibility, control over your income potential. In other words, there's no ceiling to your income potential, and the ability to build something that positively impacts your community and your family's future. Today, we'll explore what that path can look like for you. In the military, you learned technical skills, leadership skills, and operational skills. Every one of those skills has a civilian business equivalent. So this presentation is going to help you start matching what you already know from your military experience with businesses that you can excel in automatically. You can find transition quizzes and tools on sites like Career One Stop, which is DOL sponsored for interest assessments. You can go to military.com's skill translator to match your experience to civilian roles. And there's other resources through Military One Source for personalized guidance. And all of these tools will help you discover suitable civilian careers that you're going to be the boss of. Career One Stop offers a 30-question interest assessment and a veteran's job matcher to find civilian careers matching your skills and interests. Now, let me reiterate. The idea here is to utilize this tool to zero in on what your skill set is and what industry you'll best function in so that you can go and look for those businesses to either start from scratch or to acquire an existing business from somebody who's looking to retire or exit out of their business, and it will be easier for you to make it to enter into that industry through what we call acquisition entrepreneurship. Another resource is military.com. They provide a skills translator to convert military roles into civilian job titles. Military One Source is another resource. It features learning tools and guidance, including assessments and information on transferable skills. The Department of Labor, DOL Vets, administers the Transition Assistance Program, or TAP, which you may have heard of by now, with various employment workshops and resources for service members. These quizzes will help you discover businesses that align with your personal interests and your values and your military skills, while those skills translators bridge the gap between the military roles that you've served in, as well as the civilian roles that you can take on as an entrepreneur. By using these online quizzes and tools, you'll get a clearer picture of civilian entrepreneurship paths that leverage your military background, as highlighted by resources from the Military One Source and the U.S. Department of Labor. There are dozens of businesses you can launch with very little upfront investment. Let's start by looking at some service-based and consulting businesses. Security and consulting. If you're a man at arms or a military police, this could be an excellent place for you to start your own business in. You can start a security consulting company, an event security business, or a canine training company. Those are pretty cool. Capitalizing on your discipline and risk management. There's IT and cybersecurity. You can provide technical support or cybersecurity services if you have skills in that, like my nephew does cybersecurity. I don't know if I should have mentioned that or not. Why not? Okay. I'm always a little bit hesitant to say anything about anyone, right? Okay. CYA. Anyways, you could do, if you have tech skills from the military service, you could transfer those tech skills like into IT consulting, or doing cleanups for small business owners, or even installation of networks for businesses that are growing, whether that be an in-person network at a local facility, or doing online networking for intranets. Then you have fitness and wellness. You might want to start your own personal trainer business, or you might grow your client base from working through other like Pilates or yoga studios, and offering some kind of boot camps for them, as well as offering wellness coaching programs to businesses using your fitness background, which we all have a fitness background if we've served in the military, right? I just came back from the gym myself before doing this presentation. Okay, then another option is property management. You can use your organizational skills to manage rental properties. You may have already heard of like Airbnb rentals, where you can capitalize on what's called rental arbitrage. Rental arbitrage is like you go and you rent a property. Let's say you rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for $1,500 a month. Then you sublet it out on Airbnb, and you make $3,000 a month in Airbnb day-to-day rentals, right? And so if you were paying $1,500, but you made $3,000, your arbitrage opportunity is $1,500 in profit. Well, that's top line revenue. You have operating expenses, because guess what? You're going to have to pay for shampoo, toilet paper, toothbrushes, and the kind of things that laundry, the things that hotel operations use on a day-to-day basis. And so B&Bs do the same thing too. But there's still a lot of room for profit if you maybe only spend $500 a month in operating costs, and you're capitalizing $1,500 top line revenue. You'll have $1,000 a month from just one property. So that's rental arbitrage. And there's a regular traditional property management of residential properties and commercial properties. So if a commercial property management company requires somebody to have a CAM license, a community association manager license, to oversee a big property. But if you're dealing with individual houses, then you probably don't need a license, but you need to check with your state requirements, because some states, not every state's equal. Some states may have a requirement to have a property management license to do residential property management. I'm not sure. Most often you will find a real estate broker specializing in property management. So you can go get your real estate license and either work for a broker or open up your own brokerage once you have the minimum 2-year requirement. And this is a great way for you to utilize your organizational skills to oversee rental properties, to manage the leasing agreements between parties. If you're doing like a 1-year lease on a residential property, you need to manage the showing of the property, the leasing contract signing, and the 60-day notice prior to the termination of that lease, and whether or not they're going to renew the lease or not. Then you have maintenance of the property. If you're doing property management, you're going to get phone calls. Oh, the toilet's clogged up, or the light bulb in the kitchen went out and you need to go and replace the light bulb. So generally, if you have one of these companies, you can hire people to be your maintenance people to go and do minor repairs, such as the 2 things that I just mentioned. And then you can even use software technology to collect payments and provide property management reports to your clients. So once you start diving into this deeper, there's so many nuances and technologies that can help you streamline operating a property management company on a day-to-day basis. Next, we have logistics and operations. If you worked in logistics in the military, then you can offer logistics consulting or management for businesses that need organization and high pressure coordination. So these are just 5 industries that are great starting points for first-time veteran business owners. Let's keep going. Here's 5 home and outdoor services that have low overhead. Number 1, cleaning services. If you've ever heard of Bob Proctor, then you may know that he was a firefighter, got into painting houses, and mostly duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, while he was a firefighter. And then he started cleaning offices. And he grew that into a multi-million-dollar international cleaning company. That's amazing. I'm so flabbergasted by that opportunity that this guy had, and the way that he was able to build up a cleaning company into such a large industry, a large business rather. And you could do the same thing too. You could start off by cleaning residential properties, commercial office spaces, or commercial businesses, industrial businesses, or specialized post-construction cleaning, so that you go in and clean up after a construction company puts up 200 houses in a development. So, and then there's also the got junk removal type cleaning services that you can buy in, franchise, or start one from scratch. But these are generally have low startup costs, especially if you're just cleaning office spaces for small business owners, and high demand. Sometimes the retail shops need cleaners to come in, take out the trash, mop the floors, clean the toilets, that kind of thing. And, this is something that you can leverage human capital, because you as the manager, you may be doing some of these things on your, I'm certain you're going to be doing some of the cleaning yourself to start with. But look, you can hire people to do this for you, which is amazing, because you can use exponential growth by the more people you hire, the more clients you can service, right? So it's a great opportunity to move up very fast and increase your revenue. Okay. And there seems to be high demand because a lot of people don't want to do these cleaning jobs. I've even heard of cleaning companies coming into restaurants at the end of the night, say like at 1 a.m. when the restaurant's shut down, to do a deep clean of the kitchen. So that might be an opportunity if you like hospitality. And then there's also the possibility of doing housekeeping as a subcontractor for hotels, because guess what? They have housekeepers that call in sick. They have housekeepers that don't show up for work. They quit, without notice. And so, or they're just understaffed because there's a shortage, especially with what's going on now with ICE and the roundup of immigrants that are illegally here and doing those kind of low-paying entry-level jobs, right? So there may be even higher demand now than ever to put boots on the ground, so to say, inside of these hotels that need housekeeping done on a daily basis. So you may have a contract cleaning company that comes in and fills the gap for those vacancies on a contractual basis rather than being an employee, right? You can bring your own team in. Next, we have landscaping and lawn care. And let me just go back to the cleaning service for a minute. You may find that there are plenty of senior citizens that would be more willing to do this job, because senior citizens tend to be harder workers than young people. Say, hey, don't shoot the messenger. This is just what I see out there in the marketplace. And so you may be able to hire some people who are looking for maybe 2 to 3 days a week of extra income to supplement their Social Security, because if they retired with a low Social Security check, they need a couple of days of extra income to make ends meet, right? Or just have a little bit of fun money. Okay. Going on to the next business opportunity, you might want to look at landscaping and lawn care. Now, this is another easy, low-cost startup, because you can rent equipment to start off with. You can rent a truck, open, U-Haul pickup truck to put the lawnmower and the weed whacker in the back of the bed of the truck, right? So you can rent the truck. You can even rent the lawnmower. Okay. You can go buy gas for $5, right? And get your first couple of transactions going. So not only is lawn care, landscaping is another part that goes into this business. You're not just cutting the grass, you're actually planting perennials or annuals or trees to beautify the landscaping of properties. And that's both residential and commercial. So you've got so much opportunity to build up a landscaping business. And again, it's all about having teams working for you. So you may start off with one team that handles subdivision number 1. Then you build up another team to handle subdivision number 2, and a third team to build up and service subdivision number 3. Subdivision 1 has 500 houses. Subdivision 2 has 1,000 houses. Subdivision 3 has 800 houses. So you can see how this can be multiplied and scaled up at a massive level. So one thing that I would caution you is to make sure that you have insurance for your employees, because they can get injured on the job, because that is dangerous work. Even though it may not seem like it is, you're dealing with high-powered motors with blades. People can get their foot or their hand cut off relatively easy for carelessness. And so you want to make sure that your people are well trained, that you have insurance for them and for anybody who gets injured while you're doing a job, whether that be the owner of the property that you're servicing or one of their guests that are on site. So when you're doing a job, you want to put some caution signs out to just give them notice that dangerous work is at play, it is ongoing, and to stay clear, right, while you're performing your task. And then because rocks shoot up, let's face it, somebody could be walking by, walking their dog, and a rock shoots up and hits them in the eye, and now they're blind in one eye. That is a terrible situation. But look, it's all about risk mitigation. So you want to have some signs up. Hey, be careful. We're working here, work in progress, whatever, caution, and then have the insurance to cover your CYA, right? Cover your assets. Okay. All right. So that's landscaping and lawn care. Lawn landscaping can get into like beautification projects where you're putting in a koi pond, some beautiful trees, making the yard look like a Zen garden, like Mr. Miyagi's garden from The Karate Kid. I mean, there's so many different options that you can do with this business. But let's go ahead and move on because I don't want to go down deep in a rabbit hole of landscaping and lawn care when we got other things to talk about. The next business is handyman and home improvement services. Now, there are franchises that you can buy, like Honeydew, I think is a franchise opportunity that you can buy into. I saw this one Honeydew company here in Jacksonville over on Beach Boulevard. And let me tell you, their office looks nice. Their trucks look beautiful. They're all well painted. And I started off by seeing 1 or 2 trucks in the parking lot. Now it looks like they have 8 or 10 service vehicles in their parking lot. So it looks like they've grown substantially over the last couple of years that I have been driving by their facility. And I pay attention to these kind of things because in the world of real estate, you're going to be calling handymen and contractors to get stuff done. You need general contractors. You need repairs done for properties when you're listing them. You might need specialized services such as HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or you may need to install a new roof to get the property sold, or you might need a pest inspection, or have the pest company come in and tint a house to get rid of termites before you can pass inspection. And so anything that you can do in these industries are going to be valuable small business opportunities for you if that's something that interests you, especially if you're able to leverage carpentry skills or mechanical skills or electrical skills that you picked up in your military service, right? Right. Okay, here's another one that I like that that you may not have thought of. Auto, marine, and aviation detailing. Now, I had auto and marine, but I'm going to add aviation on here because that could be another area. People have planes, private planes, and they need to have them cleaned. So auto, marine, and aviation detailing, you go in there, you wash and wax, buffer, clean the interior of these automobiles and boats, especially yachts and private jets, private airplanes. So that's a business opportunity. Or if you happen to be in, have a captain's license or an aviation license, you might want to do like, you already know the deal. If you're in private aviation and you've got a license, you probably have an instructor license where you can teach lessons to other people who want to become pilots and licensed. Or you could just do, what do you call it? When you take people from one location to another, like a courier, it's not a courier, charter services, charter aviation. You might want to start a small charter aviation or maybe become an independent contractor to support charter aviation flights for small businesses that already exist and have client base, and they need people to fill the gap there with doing some contractual work. But these businesses require supplies, but they can be done mobily. So all you need is a vehicle to get from your location to the location where the car, the plane, the boat is, so that you can go service those vehicles. So that's pretty cool. I think that might be a fun job if you're hands-on, you like to be outdoors and working on these fine vehicles that you are fascinated by. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then you can also benefit, like the people, the clients that you'll be servicing will benefit from your attention to detail that you learned in the military. Now let's take a look at a more people-to-people type of small business, retail and e-commerce. There's military-themed retail. You can open up an Americana or a military-themed store. You've seen them, Army, Navy stores, right? Surplus stores. I used to love going into those stores when I was a kid. Or you might open up a bookstore that features veteran authors. It could be a pop-up bookstore, it could be a brick and mortar specific location, or it could be an online bookstore. And let me tell you, having an online bookstore could be a gold mine for you. I mean, look what it did for Amazon, for Jeff Bezos. He started off as an online bookstore, and now look at Amazon. They do everything. It's just amazing what you can grow into from a starting point. So maybe a veteran bookstore online could be a good start for you. All right, then there's apparel brands. Have you ever thought about designing and selling your own apparel brand, potentially with a military or a patriotic focus? That's something that you might want to explore. Then there's drop shipping. Now, I know there's a lot of content on the internet about drop shipping, and I really don't understand very much about it. I just know that that's something that you can do without having to house the materials yourself. The client orders it, it's done by a fulfillment center and shipped to the client. And so you don't have to have a warehouse to bring it in and then distribute it out to people. That's pretty cool. So if you like the idea of selling products online without having to hold the inventory, you can use platforms like Shopify or Etsy, and it can help you keep your operating costs very low as you focus on marketing the brand that you're building. Now, let's shift gears and talk about 3 unique niche ideas for those of you who love the outdoors. I love the outdoors. This picture right here makes me happy just looking at it. One type of business you can get into is survival skills training or adventure tours. You can become a tour guide, right? You can offer guided hikes in the mountains or in the beaches or camping on the beach, or you can do survival training like Survivor, but like in a safe space and maybe not on camera. The next thing is event planning. If you like to host events, if you like to throw parties, maybe event planning is up your speed, right? Maybe that's in your DNA. So you can coordinate weddings, you can coordinate corporate events for businesses that want to have an annual event where they bring all their people together. It could be an awards ceremony, it could be an annual New Year's Eve party or a Christmas party or summer barbecue. There's so many different things that you can help businesses do to honor their clients and honor their staff. Okay. Then there's pet services. Oh, and going back to event planning, I mean, think about all the parties that people have for life events, right? Marriages, even divorces can be celebrated as well. And a whole plethora of other things in between. Then there's pet services. If you are a pet lover, maybe you worked with canines in the military, then you could go back to the dog training, the canine dog training. You could even do grooming or boarding. You could have a pet hotel, if you will, a pet spa, or you can even have a pet cemetery because people want to maybe have their pet cremated and put into a mausoleum where they can come back and visit their loved ones, their beloved pets at some point in the future. So there's a huge audience of animal lovers. You may have one side for cats and one side for dogs, and another one for exotic pets. I mean, there's so many different types of things that you could do with pets. There's clothing, there's food. People treat their pets like their children. So there's a lot of things you can do with pet services, and people are making a lot of money servicing those pets and those pet owners. Okay, in summary, these are some businesses that thrive in almost every city across America. They offer reliable demand, recurring revenue, and predictable operations, all things that veterans tend to excel at. This slide here gives you some additional options that you can think about as a new business owner, where you can apply that structure, discipline, and community involvement. So you have car washes, laundry and dry cleaning facilities, print shops, auto repair shops. If you are a mechanic in the military, that might be a great fit for you to go buy an auto repair shop where somebody's looking to retire. Mailboxes and package services. That's great for somebody who worked in logistics. Storage facilities. You could buy your own storage facility. You could build one from scratch. RV parks, RV resorts, glamping. There's so many different options for you to consider in providing businesses that can thrive in almost every major city across America. All right. You don't need a 40-page business plan to get started. What you do need is a simple, clear, and actionable plan that defines your mission, your market, your money model, and your operations. So, on the next few slides, we're going to review the framework that you'll use to get clarity and take action quickly. Excuse me a second here. Okay, let's get into it. The best businesses solve problems that people are actively seeking help with. So the question isn't what do I want to sell? It's really what problem can I solve that people will gladly pay me for? We have a video series that walks you through identifying a problem worth solving, and it's called the Bespoke Startup Workshop series. And you can watch it for free on the YouTube channel at The Entrefluential Life. You can screenshot this picture on screen here and scan that QR code to go straight to the BSW workshop series, and it'll teach you all about starting a business from scratch. Let's talk about pricing and positioning. Pricing is not random. It's strategic. You need to understand your costs, your competition, and the value that you deliver. Positioning is how customers perceive you. Are you going to use the cost-based option, the value-based option, or the competitor-based option? Cost-based pricing sets prices by adding a margin to production costs. So let's say that a bag of coffee costs you $8 to produce, and you're going to sell that $8 bag for $22 so that you have enough money to cover your fixed expenses for your business, the coffee shop rent, the employees, the electricity, the computers, the marketing, and so on, and have some profit. Let's say that your goal is to make 10% profit. So you built in a 10% surplus, a price plus for profit. The next one is value-based pricing, and that focuses on what customers are willing to pay based on perceived value. In my opinion, for service businesses, that is the best way to go, value-based pricing. Now, it may cost you $22 to produce a product or a service that you're going to provide to a client, but you sell it for $100 because that's what they perceive the value is, because they're making on that $100 investment, they're making $800. So for them, $100 turns into $800. It's worth the $100. Even though it only costs you $22 to produce, you're making $100, so you're making $78 profit. That's value-based pricing. Why would they pay $100? Because they make $800. They see the value in paying you $100. Then there's competitor-based pricing. This relies on what others in the marketplace are charging, and this one is really not a good idea. I mean, you want to know what your competition is doing, and you do want to stay competitive, but you don't want to base your prices on competition, because you may get into a downward fight on pricing. It's a downward spiral, which damages businesses. And so it really erodes your profit. And so if you can, I recommend staying away from competitor pricing. Stick with cost-based and value-based, and use 3-tier pricing distribution. You can research that to learn more about it or contact us. Okay, now let's talk about marketing essentials. Marketing doesn't need to be complicated. Every business, no matter the industry, needs these essentials. You need to have a Google business profile so people can find you if they look for you on a Google map. A simple website that you are marketing out there in the marketplace, because having a website and leaving it alone and doing nothing else is like having a needle in a haystack. There's just way too many websites out there for you to be found. So you need to point people in the direction of your website so that they can see you're a real business. They can take you seriously. And then you need social media presence. Why do you need social media presence? Is it going to generate a client immediately if they go and they look at your social media post for this morning? Probably not. But if you have ongoing social media posts and stories and reels, then when they're doing their due diligence to see if you qualify to do business with them, then they're going to go look at your website. They're going to go look at your social media channels to see what you're talking about, and basically do their due diligence to see if they can trust you. Then they'll make the next step. So it is important to have for these reasons. So this is how your prospective customers are going to find you and determine whether or not they can trust you. Know, like, and trust. Those are the 3 steps. They got to first know who you are. They got to like you because they're not going to do business with you if they don't like you. And then they have to be able to trust you. And that's where the due diligence comes in. And so having a presence in all of these platforms is helpful to do just that. Now let's talk about funding your startup business. There's several funding paths available for startup businesses. Most veteran businesses will start lean, but if you need capital, an SBA microloan or a home equity line of credit, or even borrowing from your 401k can be used safely if you manage it well. So this slide is going to break down the pros and cons of each. Each option has pros and cons. If the loan is a non-recourse loan, then the lender will not go after your personal assets like your home, your family home. If the loan is a full recourse loan, then the loan attaches to your personal property like your home and your other assets, and it can be seized and sold for non-payment. The best course of action is to get advice from your attorney before you sign a contract that is legally binding so that you can know the difference of whether or not that contract is recourse, full recourse, or non-recourse. Then you have the SBA microloan. An SBA microloan is guaranteed by the Small Business Administration and provided by intermediary lenders, making them accessible to a broader range of businesses, including startups. Here are some pros of the SBA microloan. Easier qualification. It's designed for businesses that do not qualify for traditional bank loans, including startups or those with less than perfect credit. Favorable terms. Feature capped interest rates. They feature capped interest rates, so they're not going to be variable, which means going up and down. It'll be locked in. And they have longer repayment terms, up to 6 years, than many of the alternatives that are out there, making payments much more manageable for you as the business owner and the borrower. And you have access to support. Many lenders provide free business training and technical assistance. When you get an SBA microloan, they'll give you the access to those resources. And then there's flexible use of the funds. So you can use it for a wide variety of business purposes, such as inventory, equipment, and working capital. Some of the cons of the SBA microloan. The loan amount is capped to a maximum of $50,000, which may be insufficient for large expansion plans or real estate purchases. Application process. There is a approval process involved, and it can take several weeks, which is one of the drawbacks if you need funds immediately. There are use restrictions, so you can't use the SBA microloan to purchase real estate or to pay off existing debt. And they require a personal guarantee. A personal guarantee is typically required, meaning that your personal assets, including your home, may be at risk if you default on this business loan. Now let's talk about the home equity line of credit, or HELOC. This allows you to borrow against your equity in your home, functioning like a revolving line of credit. Here are some of the pros: lower interest rates, flexibility, large borrowing capacity, and potential tax deductibility. Lower interest rates. Because your home because your home is serving as collateral, the interest rates are typically lower than unsecured loans or credit card debt. So maybe you're looking at a 7-8% interest rate versus a 25% interest rate on a credit card. It's flexible because you can withdraw the funds as needed, not all in one lump sum, during your draw period, which could be up to 10 years. And you only pay interest on the amount that you use. So let's say that you in January you borrow $5,000. Well, you're only going to pay interest on the $5,000. You pay that back, there's no interest to be paid because you paid it back already, right? The borrowing capacity is pretty good. You can access a significant amount of money depending on how much equity you have in your home. So if you've got $20,000 in equity, obviously your HELOC will be very low. But if you have $200,000 in equity, then your home equity line of credit can be pretty substantial. And there's a potential for tax deductibility. So you might want to talk to your CPA to find out how you can deduct the payments, the interest payments for your loan for your business, especially if you're using it for qualified improvements, like if you own an Airbnb rental property and you make home improvements for that, then you may be able to deduct the interest and the expenses for doing the improvements. And so again, you want to speak to a tax advisor for the best way to utilize the tax deductions, because you can accelerate your tax deductions on improvements of rental property. So again, speak to your CPA or your tax advisor. Some of the cons of a HELOC. Well, the biggest one is that there's a risk of foreclosure. If your home secures a HELOC, home equity line of credit, defaulting on the payments will put your house at risk of foreclosure. The second thing that I don't like about the HELOC is the variable interest rate. Most HELOCs have variable interest rates, which means you might be at 2% today and you may be at 5% tomorrow. And they can fluctuate pretty rapidly with changing market conditions. So it can make budgeting difficult for you. And then there's bank discretion. The lender can reduce or freeze your credit line if property values drop because we go into a recession, or your financial situation changes because your business isn't producing as much widgets and making as much sales as it did the prior month. So those are a couple of issues that could be a problem for you if you're making plans to use that money and now you can no longer access it. Then there's fees and costs. Many of these home equity lines of credit involve closing costs, annual fees to maintain the account, and appraisal fees on your property to determine what the market value is, to see how much equity you have. And all of these fees can add up. So it's something that you have to consider in detail before you make a well-informed, so that you can make a well-informed decision. Then there's the 401k loan. Borrowing from your 401k retirement plan involves taking a loan from your retirement savings account up to a maximum of $50,000 or half of your vested balance. Here are some of the pros. No credit check. The loan is based on your vested balance, so a credit check is not required. You can access the funds pretty quickly. The application process is typically fast, with funds available within days. Why? Because it's your money. They've just been holding it for you. Interest paid to yourself. The interest that you pay on the loan goes back into your own retirement account, as well as the profits from it too. Let me be clear on that. If you use 401k loan, you have to put the profit from that loan back into your 401k until you're ready to draw it permanently out. There's no tax penalty on the loan. The borrowed amount is not considered a taxable distribution or subject to early withdrawal penalties, provided that it is repaid on time. And so if you're going to do a 401k loan to fund the acquisition of a business, you want to probably roll it over into a self-directed IRA, and you need to speak to an SDIRA custodian to get clear specifics on how this is done, because you can't do it yourself. You need to go through a custodian. Here are some of the cons. Slowed retirement growth. The money is removed from investments, potentially missing out on compounding market rate returns. But let me say this. If your interest is compounding interest is only going to be 12% per year, and your investment in your business is going to return you 40%, well, I don't know about you, but I think that's a no-brainer. I'd rather make 40% than 12%. So you need to consider those two things. Repayment upon job termination. If you leave your business, the outstanding balance typically must be repaid quickly, often by the tax filing deadline, or it will be treated as a taxable early withdrawal, subject to a 10% penalty if you're under age 59 and a half. Then there's double taxation. You repay the loan with after-tax dollars, and those funds are taxed again when you withdraw them in retirement. So that's a consideration that you need to speak to your CPA, your tax advisor about, and then and your SDIRA custodian for specifics. And then reduced contributions. Some plans may not allow you to make new contributions until the loan is fully repaid. So that's something to consider, because it can further impact your savings. So here are two resources for you that are specific for military members. They're military specific grants and programs. You can fund your business with this. You can go to Hiring Our Heroes and National Veteran-Owned Business Association by scanning these two QR codes to see what kind of support is available for veterans and access to additional resources for veterans who are going to become entrepreneurs. Now it's time for us to switch gears and talk about setting up the business's legal structure. Before you launch, you need to decide how your business will be structured. An LLC or limited liability company is the most common starting point because it's low cost, doesn't require mandatory business meeting minutes, and avoids double taxation that comes with creating a corporation. Now, let me pause here for a minute and specify I have a law degree. That's why you see JD after my name, right? Juris Doctor. But I am not a licensed attorney. So this is not should not be construed as legal advice. This is educational content. I'm teaching you about starting a business for specific legal advice, specific for you and specific for your situation. You should consult with a corporate attorney regarding legal structures and what will be best for your intentions. Okay, that said, let's continue on with this lesson. If you plan to earn over $50,000 a year and you want better tax benefits, then an S corporation, which is a filing that you do with the tax department, our IRS, after creating a C corporation with the state that you're operating in, is a tax function, right? You file the S corporation it's an election for tax purposes, so that you're taxed as a pass-through entity. In other words, whatever the LLC makes, the income is passed down to the owner, which is you, and it's only taxed once. If you file your personal income tax and your business income tax combined together. And so that is beneficial for small businesses that are making over 50K a year. If you're making less than 50K a year, you may just want to go with an LLC and a Schedule C filing with your tax returns for your business deductions to be able to minimize your responsibilities that come with owning a S corporation or a C corporation, which requires annual filing minutes. Essentially, the S corporation election status is filed with the IRS so that they can treat your LLC income, like I said, as a pass-through entity, and you'll combine your personal and your business income tax on Form 1040, again, with all the requisite addendums for your deductions, which is, I don't know what it is, like 1120 something. I don't know. You got to talk to an accountant about the forms for the S corporation and the forms for the LLC, and if whether or not you file the Schedule C for your you can file a Schedule C even if you have a sole proprietorship, which is no formal business registration, to make deductions for your business. That's what I do every year. Next, you have a limited partnership. So if you have another person that becomes a partner, and that partner has an investment of capital, but they don't have access or responsibilities on the day-to-day operations of the business, they are considered a limited partner. You have a limited partnership. So with a limited partnership, the limited partner or limited partners, if you have more than one, they invest a small portion of money and they receive a small percentage of gains comparable to how much they invested in your business. They also have limited amount of liability if your business gets sued, hence the name limited partnership. Lastly, the default business entity is the sole proprietorship. This is basically active the day that you hang a sign on your door and say, I'm open for business. If you use your own name conducting your business, that's fine. But if you use a name other than your birth name, then the states want you to file a fictitious name registration and show proof that you advertised your DBA or doing business as ABC company in the paper. And they have a structure and a paper that they specifically require you to use. And so in Florida, to find out what that is, you would go to sunbiz, sunbiz.org for specific filing instructions for your fictitious name registration. The cost for the advertisement is about $30. We use Jack's Daily Record here in Jacksonville. And the filing fee is about $40. Your structure affects taxes. It affects your liability from being sued and how you pay yourself. So choosing correctly matters. Here again, I want to advise you to speak with a corporate attorney to weigh the pros and cons of each option based on your unique situation and your entrepreneurial business objectives. After forming the business, the financial foundation that you set in place is going to be fundamental. So here are a couple of CPA essentials. Number one, you need an EIN. That's an employer identification number for tax filing. You need to pay quarterly taxes, and an EIN is required for you to do that. Or if you're a foreigner, it's an ITIN, ITIN. You can find out more about that by going to the irs.gov. And the second thing that you're going to need that's very important is a bookkeeping system. Now, a lot of small business owners do what's called shoebox accounting. They get a shoebox, they get the receipts, and they put them in the shoebox. Or they do envelope accounting. So they get an envelope and they put all of their receipts in an envelope. Okay, and it looks like this. And then at the end of the year, they take all the receipts, they compile them into lists, which is essentially a chart of accounts to show where the expenses went throughout the entire year. How much money was spent on gasoline? How much money was spent on cell phone use? How much money was allocated for your laptop computer? And so on and so forth. And if you're using space in your property, then there's an allocation for the rent that goes towards your office use, right? So having a bookkeeping system or hiring a good bookkeeper is important. Now, I have a relationship with a business relationship with Starlight Bookkeeping. I don't get paid any money for recommending them, but I advise if you don't have a specific bookkeeper in mind, then you might want to look up Starlight Accounting for your bookkeeping services for your small business, because it's a whole lot easier if you're making money for your business. If you're not making money, you need to do this on your own. But once you start making money, utilizing a system like QuickBooks and having a bookkeeper to set up your chart of accounts and oversee your monthly expenses and give you guidance on where you can cut back and where you should reallocate funds it's important, and to have that insight from somebody who's skilled at what they're doing. I think Stephanie is at Starlight Bookkeeping is fantastic. Again, like I did a podcast with her last season. She was our co-host, and I trust her and I recommend her, highly recommend her if you're looking for a bookkeeper. But find a bookkeeper, somebody that is in your local market area, or maybe even hire a niece or a nephew or somebody in college that's looking for some part-time work that's studying accounting. Could be a good fit for you to get started. But the point is here is to have a bookkeeping system in place so that you're not stuck trying to do it at the end of the year, and so that you can look at your financial statements, your balance sheet, your profit and loss statement, and your statement of cash flows to better manage your business. The key here is that having bookkeeping done is optics on your business. The language of business is finance. And if you're not managing your finances properly, then you're missing out on opportunity to grow your business and make more money and cut costs. Okay. I think I've spoken enough on that. I'm going to get off that pedestal. The third thing is tax planning. If you don't have a good tax plan in place, now when you're getting started, you're just figuring all this stuff out, right? So perhaps in year one, you're not going to go do an advanced tax plan before the year even begins. But by your second year, you should already be thinking about what are the best ways to structure the functioning of my business to utilize tax planning to make the most money and to offset my responsibility of tax payments, right, to the IRS. This means, like, if you're a small business owner and you make $100,000 in profit, you may be able to invest that, but let's say 60, 70, $80,000 of that money to of your profit into a retirement plan, tax-free. Okay, tax-free. And if you don't, well, then that $80,000 will be taxed at your capital gains tax rate, I believe. Capital gains plus self-employment tax as well is going to be hit on you too. So one of the best ways that Uncle Sam provides you with, and again, I'm not a CPA, so I can't give you tax advice. You need to talk to a tax advisor. I'm just educating you on how to move your business forward when you get to year 2 and on, to do the importance of doing tax planning with a CPA or a financial advisor is so that you can come up with a well thought out structure for allocating the money that your business makes to, number one, set up your future so that you can retire wealthy, and number two, to minimize your tax liability, because the IRS says if you put money into your retirement plan, that's good for us because we don't have to take care of you when you're in your retirement years. You've already set money aside to take care of yourself, and so we'll give you a tax break on that money that you allocate to your tax retirement plan. So again, tax planning year 1, You might want to speak to an accountant to see your what you need to track for tax deductions, right? Because you have deductions that are approved by the IRS, and you want to know what those deductions are before you spend the money. And then after year one, then you want to do advanced tax planning so that you can steer the ship of your business in the right direction, making allocations of the money that you bring in so that you minimize your tax liability and maximize your savings for retirement, which though that money, by the way, can be used for making future investments, which can grow your retirement plan exponentially. It can pay for your business growth. You can have 5 locations using your retirement funds. So, like, I'm just telling you that speaking to a tax advisor is and having that foresight is very important. All right, I've gone too far with this section. Let me move forward. All right, here is a launch checklist. Now you can screenshot this and use this as your map, your roadmap, if you will, moving forward to launch your business. It's going to it outlines what you need to do to launch your business the right way. So think of it as your pre-flight checklist. Once you've completed these items, you're clear for takeoff. You start with a business plan. Again, it could be a one-pager. Then you create your legal entity. Your entity formation is important. Go talk to a corporate lawyer, find out which one's best. Sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, C Corp. Next, you want to set up your business finances properly with a business bank account, an employer identification number from the IRS. You want to hire a bookkeeper and set up your chart of accounts specific to your business activities, because guess what? Not all chart of accounts apply to every business. You have a chart of accounts that's specific for owning a restaurant and a different one for owning a hotel. Okay. So find out what a CPA with experience in your industry will guide you to do for your tax planning. Tax preparation is completing your Form 1040 and filing with the IRS and 1165 and whatever else, okay, for your corporation. That's tax preparation. They're just preparing your taxes for you and making sure that you're compliant on April 15, or if you follow the extended tax extension thing, it's October, right? October 10 or whatever that is, whatever date that is. That's tax preparation. Tax planning is getting ahead of your year and planning what you're going to do with your business and allocating those funds properly. So you need a CPA with experience in your industry. If you're a real estate investor, you want a CPA that has experience working with real estate investors. If you're a hotelier, get a CPA who knows how to deal with hotel finances. If you own a car wash, then talk to a CPA who has other car wash clients. Then you want to set up your marketing plan and delegate who does what, like outsourcing your social media management or hiring a virtual assistant to post regularly on your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn channels, Facebook, if that's still a thing. Finally, you want to set up your day-to-day administration systems, processes, standard operating procedures, your frameworks for getting things done. And I'll talk to you more about what we do for you in a minute on that part. But you may also want to outsource your customer service inquiries so that you can minimize your responsibility of taking calls and troubleshooting fulfillment issues yourself. In other words, once you get your systems in place and find the right people that you can put to take care of certain jobs so that you can be at the top with a bird's eye view of what's going on in your business rather than getting bogged down in the weeds. That we used to use that term in the restaurant. You're in the weeds, you're bogged down with a lot of boots on the ground tasks. You need to have a top line view, a top level view of your business so that you can work above your business and not be working in your business more than you have to. Okay, now let's talk about the first 90 days. The first 90 days are going to set the tone for your entire business. You need to focus on client acquisition, service delivery, making sure that your clients have a perfect 100% guest satisfaction experience. You need to work on your feedback loops. You need feedback from your customers to make adjustments so that they're satisfied. You need feedback from your vendors to make sure that that system is giving and receiving is flowing properly. And you need feedback from your staffers to make sure that they're functioning, they have the tools and the resources that they need to get the job done. So you need to build simple systems that operate on autopilot to make your business functional and ready for scale. This is your operational battle plan as a new business owner. Let's talk about systems, standard operating procedures, and automation. You can use ChatGPT to help you streamline all of these things that you need done in your business, writing the SOPs, setting up automations. You can use computer systems, AI to do automations, workflows. You can document your workflows using ChatGPT or Claude AI or any of these other online resources to minimize any gaps in your operational task, your framework, and then you implement, right? Set up and implement, right? Documenting your workflows allows you to operate your business consistently, whether it be employee A, employee B, or employee C doing the job. They're going to do it consistently because they're following standard operating procedures. And this allows you to scale your business so much more smoothly when you have all of these resources in place. Now let's talk about scaling strategies. Once your business has steady customers, you'll likely want to expand your business so you can make more money. The most reliable scaling strategies are, first, raising prices. A $2 difference can have a substantial impact on your bottom line. Adding services, expanding your territory. If you're operating in Jacksonville, Florida, you may want to look at operating a second location in Tampa, Florida, or Orlando, or Miami, or Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm Beach. And then using online marketing. If you're operating a brick and mortar business, are you driving traffic to it using online marketing? Are you using marketing out there in the streets? Are you using billboards, bus stops? Are you sending out direct mail flyers? Are you doing the online marketing of like AdWorks, for instance, in a geographic territory based on zip code? A small business owner can scale by strategically using these things. Price increases includes bundling, value justification. Why should I pay you $100? Because I'm going to make $400 in return. Value justification. Adding services like upselling. They want product A, you can upsell them to product B and C. Premium tiers, right? You have your VIP service, your standard service, your entry-level service. Expanding the territory. You can have online and physical locations. You can have franchising. You can have licensing to other third parties to sell your products or your services, and they make a percentage for selling it. You can leverage online marketing by using data-driven ads, social proof, and automation to boost your revenue and reach, focusing on delivering more value for higher prices or attracting more customers through broader reach. You want to work on both of those at the same time. So this section walks you through each strategy. Raising prices. There's three ways that you can do this. You can increase value, you can anchor and bundle, or you can use phased increases. Let's talk about increasing value. You don't want to just raise your prices, and you want to justify them by adding features, better support, or premium bundles. For example, exclusive colors, enhanced packaging can help you provide a better package. You can anchor and bundle. This means showing a regular price next to a higher priced bundle, which is more than one item, to highlight the value. That's called price anchoring. And you can create premium versions of your best sellers by packaging them and bundling them. That's called bundling, is packaging them together. And you might even come up with a strategic alliance with a third-party company that they can bundle in something that they offer with what you offer. For example, if you're in a service-based business, you may want to partner as a lawyer that does corporate law with a CPA, right? Bundle your services together and offer a package deal. That's a great strategic alliance, in my opinion. All right, then there's phased increases. You want to gently phase in price hikes, offer existing customers grandfather rates so they feel honored, and give early bird upgrades to reduce the shock of your price increase. Now let's talk about upselling and cross-selling. You can train your staff to suggest higher value upgrades or complementary products or services at checkout. That's called upselling. Why and how does this work out in the marketplace? Let's say you go to McDonald's. I don't generally go to McDonald's, but if I was to go to McDonald's, because I try to eat healthy, if I was to go to McDonald's and I ordered a value meal, they're going to try to upsell me. They're going to say, would you like to make that a medium or a large? That's an upsell. And that done multiple times throughout the day generates a lot of profit for them. Now let's talk about premium tiers. You can develop a gold or a platinum level service with added benefits for your VIP clients, which they're more than willing to pay the higher fee because they want that premium service. Then you can also do bundling, which I spoke about previously, which is combining products or services to make the packages more attractive to your clientele. Some clients want the basics, some clients want the deluxe package, and some want the premium or the VIP package. So you can increase your average order value by doing bundling, upselling, and offering combined products or combined services and strategic alliances. Now, the other opportunity that you have ahead of you once you get your business rolling is to expand your territory. You can expand by digital reach, which is building a strong website, leveraging local search engine optimization, and using social media to reach new customers online. You can expand into new markets. Like I gave as an example just a little while ago, I said if you're operating in Jacksonville, you might want to expand into the Tampa market, the Orlando market, the Miami market. And so you want to research and enter those neighboring cities or even neighboring states and handling the logistics like taxes, a foreign business registration, foreign currency if you go global, and find the right partners that can give you guidance on making those strategic expansion moves to expand your territory. Then another way to expand your business is through franchising or licensing. So you may want to consider hiring a franchise development company to take your proven business model and to expand it with the minimal capital investment, but maximum capital gain because you can charge a franchise initiation fee for people who come in and start a franchise using your box product and service. Then you have local immersion. You can join local networking groups and you can hire local staff in new areas to build up your community presence. Think of it like going to a shopping mall and setting up a kiosk to introduce your products or services to that marketplace before you open up a brick and mortar store. Now, let's talk about using online sales and marketing. Data-driven ads means using analytics like Google Analytics or an ad console to find what works and then scale the successful campaigns efficiently. In other words, you do A/B testing, you run two different ads, maybe the headline is different on the two ads, and then so you add more money to the one that's working better so that you can scale up on your reach. Then you can automate and streamline, which means implementing booking pages and automated marketing like ManyChat to make purchasing effortless. You can amplify your social proof by using social media to build trust, to deepen your customer connections, and to showcase value. And then with regards to content marketing, you can create valuable content to educate your audience and make it entertaining. We call that infotainment, and that will help you attract and nurture your leads. We have a company called Coleman Tanner Marketing, and we've come up with 3 different tiers for of packages to offer entry level, growth-minded small business owners, and then market domination business owners who are looking to expand their business and gather the most reach. So for a mature business. So in the beginning, so like what we do here is the intention is to grab, like for the Spark Box, we want to grab maybe 1 to 3 different influencers in your marketplace who already have your target audience. And we want to tell them about your business. And the way that we do that is by creating a Spark Box. We have a gift box. It's a giveaway with some free services inside of that box. And we want to partner you up with some other people that are doing the same thing too, so that the package becomes more valuable. So maybe you and 2 of your strategic alliance partners add a free giveaway inside of the Spark Box. Then this influencer who has the audience that all 3 of you want presents this Spark Box giveaway over a 10-day period, 5-day period, 2-week period, whatever the agreement is with the influencer, to mention the giveaway and to lead up to the date that they randomly pick somebody from their audience who's registered, which A, helps you build a list of leads, and B, gets you exposure and creates goodwill because you're giving away some free services or free products to the person who wins. So the influencer at the end of the prize, the giveaway prize competition, whatever, is picked out at random, and then they're presented with the gift. Okay, so they get the Spark Box, and again, it gets bigger, more influencers as you move up from the Spark Box to the Momentum Box and the Market Domination Box. So with the Spark Box, maybe just one micro influencer. The Momentum Box could be 4 to 6 different micro influencers, all promoting the giveaway. And then the Market Domination could be 8 to 12 different micro influencers with anywhere from 30 to 50,000 followers per person. So if you have 50,000 followers and you get 10 influencers, that's 500,000 people that you're going to be exposed to. If you want more information about using influencer marketing, then just DM me on Instagram at Coleman Tanner Marketing, or just shoot me an email, john@colemantanner.com. Let's move on. At Coleman Tanner Enterprises, so Coleman Tanner Enterprises is like the compilation, the top dog of all of these small independent businesses. Coleman Tanner Realty is essentially Coleman Tanner Business Brokerage, where I specialize in providing business brokerage opportunities. If you want to buy a business or sell a business, I can be your broker and do that here in the state of Florida because I'm a licensed real estate broker. Coleman Tanner Financial and Coleman Tanner Consulting, we provide advice on how to set up your financial systems or your business operations using the Small Business Improvement Matrix, or one-on-one consulting to help you set up your financials, your bookkeeping systems, your tax systems. And eventually, if I get my mortgage broker license, we're going to offer financing for residential and commercial loans. And then we have Coleman Tanner Marketing, which I just spoke to you about. We offer done for you services, done with you services, and DIY guidance, okay, for marketing purposes. And so we altogether, everything under Coleman Tanner Enterprises is to provide veteran entrepreneurs with the guidance that they need to successfully launch, stabilize. Well, let me rephrase that. We want to help you launch your business, scale your business up so that it grows, so that you have 4 or 5, 10 locations. We want to stabilize operations so that everything is seasoned and functioning properly, and then help you sell your business when you're ready so that you can exit with a golden parachute, which means a huge payoff. So if you're operating 5 locations, you might get 10x the value of your business as opposed to 2x or 3x for selling one individual business. And that's leveraging micro M&A, mergers and acquisitions, and exit multiple arbitrage. The way that we help you grow and scale up to that multiple locations is by using OPM, other people's money, which could be bank loans or a combination of bank loans and investment capital from private equity firms, right? Or investment houses, or even institutional investors. And at the end of the day, when you use exit multiple arbitrage, you can sell your business for 4x, 5x, 10x the value of all of your businesses combined, your EBITDA, so that you can receive the biggest paycheck when you leave your business. Okay. And it's structured in a way that is attractive to buyers, that they'll be knocking on your door to buy your business before you're ready to even retire. And for those of you who want expert guidance throughout the journey, this is a journey. This is a business journey. Coleman Tanner Consulting is my advisory firm. This is where I provide you with structured advisory support using our proprietary small business improvement matrix. And you can learn all about that at my Instagram page, Coleman Tanner Consulting, or through the Entrepreneurial Life on YouTube, because I create plenty of videos that explain all 12 functions of the small business improvement matrix, which is right here. This is the small business improvement matrix. And when your small business improvement wheel, the flywheel, is operating in green, your business is ready to sell. It's functioning at its highest capacity. It's ready to grow. So put simply, we want to help you strategically plan, launch, and grow your business while minimizing your risks without the risk of guesswork, the time-consuming extensive research that needs to get done, or getting frozen in analysis paralysis because you have decisions to make and you just can't because you're overthinking all of your options. We are helping you to get clarity in running your business. Again, this is a picture of the small business improvement matrix flywheel. It's our signature proprietary framework, and it guides you through the exact steps required to build a stable, profitable, and scalable business. From your diagnostic quiz, which you can take for free online, we create a bespoke roadmap with a 90-day action plan, and then we revisit every quarter to see what systems integrations you can use, what cash flow optimization strategies will work for you to make more money in your business, and what risk mitigation tactics you need to be doing to minimize your risk in your business. These quarterly diagnostics, and listen, I'm giving you this information, and just for educational purposes. I'm really not trying to hard sell you on anything. I don't want you to sign up for anything today. I just want to educate you. I want you to be thinking about this in the back of your mind, so that if you do business with me as your business broker, I help you buy a business, help you sell a business. Then if you're getting ready to sell, you might want to look at hiring us as your consultant to go through all of this framework in order to ensure that everything is working properly in your business. This is all about optimization. And the quarterly diagnostics that I provide are specifically for small to mid-sized business owners. I'm not at the level yet myself to be providing advice to enterprise level businesses. There are consultants at Deloitte, Boston Consulting Group, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Ernst & Young. They're experts. A lot of these people have Ivy League degrees, and they are probably the best place for you to go if you're an enterprise level business. But if you're starting from scratch, I have a master's degree in hotel management, which is the equivalent of an MBA for hoteliers, which a lot of the things that we learned about revenue management, financial management, strategic management, service operations management, all translate across every business. So I have that master's degree in my back pocket, as well as a law degree, a Juris Doctorate. And I have plenty of experience in the workforce. I ran an appraisal company with licenses in Florida, Georgia, and Texas, operations in Miami and in Jacksonville, covering 13 different counties at one point in time in the past. And I did that for 9 years, almost 10 years. And I've been a licensed realtor since 2006, and now I'm a broker since 2017. And now I'm trying to get my mortgage license again. I worked in mortgage from 2002 to 2007 as a licensee, active from 2002 to 2004 at Seaboard Credit Union and at RBMG, which became that bank from 2002 to 2004. So my experience is predominantly in the real estate space, in sales, finance, and appraisals. So I have the education and the experiential background to give you some guidance. I'm pretty good at giving you some guidance on how to steer your business to help you grow it. But anyways, the point here is that these diagnostics, you should be, whether you get diagnostics from me or from somebody else, there's a lot of material that you can gain online for free. You can use ChatGPT and Claude AI to do a SWOT analysis of your business and your competition to see where you can make some improvements. You can talk about risk mitigation strategies, right? The point of this is to get another set of eyes to look at your business from the top down with a strategic management perspective, and to give you ongoing support on the tactical, boots on the ground engagement of these plans. Because you have to do, like Stephen Covey said, plan your work, then work your plan. That's how you work better, more efficiently, and optimize your business. So I highly recommend that you start with a diagnostic quiz. Once you get your business going, start with a diagnostic assessment of your business to see where you are, what your strengths and what your weaknesses, and then make a plan to start working on both of those things, making your business stronger, more competitive, and to minimize your risk. Because the goal here is to be great in all 12 of these segments with all green scores in each quadrant of the flywheel. All right. We've been together for an hour and 18 minutes on this webinar. Before I let you go, I want to recap your marching orders on how to move forward if you're ready to take action. Step 1, create your business plan. Keep it short and sweet. Step 2, choose your business model. Will it be an LLC, sole proprietorship, or S Corp, or maybe even a C Corp? Step 3, set up your 4-corner foundation, your legal, your financial, your marketing, and your admin systems. Step 4, begin your 90-day mission plan with a focus on customer development. And step 5, book a consultation with us when you're ready for strategic management advice to have a second opinion on how to optimize your business. Your entrepreneurial journey starts with one decisive step, and that's saying yes to yourself. You can do this. You can be an entrepreneur. You've got the skill set, and it's time for you to take action. To begin your entrepreneurial journey, your next action step includes booking a call if you want to do acquisition entrepreneurship, which means buying a business that's already in existence. Let me pause here for a second and say this first. I should have said this first. You have to have working capital. If you have $0 in the bank to start with, then now's not the time. You need to save up some money because you're going to need working capital. If you're able to acquire a business with 100% financing, which is not hard to do, you can get 80 to 90% financing from an SBA loan, and you get the seller to give you the other 10 or 20% as a purchase money mortgage or seller financing. So that covers 100% of the purchase price of an existing business. But once you get access to that business, once you sign the contract and you own the business, you do the closing, you need working capital to work the day-to-day functions of the business. And you need to have at least 6 months of reserves to play it on the safe side. 6 to 9 months is ideal. So with that said, if you have 6 to 9 months of reserves of working capital that you can deploy to running a business, and you think that rather than starting a business from scratch, you'd rather go buy an existing business from somebody who's looking to exit, they have a good business, we can go and do research, what's called due diligence, and find out if that business is a green light on the due diligence side, that it looks like it can grow, then we can move forward and represent you as a buyer's agent at Coleman Tanner Realty, our business brokerage division, and help you make that acquisition. And it generally could be as early as 30 days to close, or it could be up to 6 to 9 months, depending on the type of business and how deep the due diligence will go. But we can start with a meeting. You can book a call by scanning this code here, which goes to my calendar, and we'll sign a buyer's agency agreement, and we can start searching for a business. If you want an idea of what's out there, you can just go to bizbuysell.com and start looking at what's available in the marketplace. That's the top website where businesses are sold on a daily basis. And then the next step will be to begin your mission. You got to plan your work, then work your plan. In closing, I want to thank you for your time. You've been here for an hour and 21 minutes so far. I know it's a pretty long morning for a Saturday. Today is Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Tomorrow is the big Super Bowl. I'm excited about that. I'm sure you are too. But in closing, I respect your time, and I want to thank you for your investment of time and energy here in watching this presentation, whether it be today here with me live or in the future when you're watching a replay on YouTube. If you found this Operation Ownership presentation to be insightful and you're ready to explore placing Coleman Tanner Realty front and center to support you on this mission of acquisition entrepreneurship, then I'd like to personally hop on a call with you and walk you through our buyer agency representation briefing. Again, you can scan the QR code on screen, or you can just simply visit calendly.com/JW Tanner to directly book a consultation with me. You've served your country. Now it's time to serve your community and build your family legacy through entrepreneurship. Let's take your next mission together. I look forward to partnering with you in the near future. Thank you for being here and for your service. I'm going to open the floor to any questions. I'm going to close out this presentation and wait for a few minutes. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. Otherwise, you can add them in the comments section on YouTube, and I will respond to them when I receive notification by email. Anything that you want to clarify on, like business models, funding, legal setup, or next steps, I'm here to help you and guide you in the right direction and find you the right specialist, right? The CPA or an attorney that does corporate law to help you answer questions that I can't answer myself. And if you have any questions regarding the contents of this presentation, please leave me a comment below or feel free to reach out to me. My business line is 904-310-4270 or email me. My email address is John, John, at Coleman, Coleman, Tanner, ColemanTanner.com. Goodbye for now, and good luck to you on your next mission. Actually, I'm going to close this out now and I'll take your questions. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me in the comments or by email or give me a call. Thanks again. Take care and enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow.